Hey, podcast listening people, Connor Doobie here. Happy Marketing Monday. Mondays for the mentors, if you remember that. Welcome to the show. We are live every day of the week at 5:30 Mountain Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern. Make sure you jump in. Make sure you comment, which is very helpful. Make sure you like the post if you like the content. And please ensure you share this. If not even for you, I guarantee you, there's somebody else in your network who will get great value out of this. And I have a treat for you, my friends. I have a guest with me today. Miss Sherri Schwartz is the Interim Chief Marketing Officer at First Orion. I got it right first time. Previously serving as the company's VP Communications and Product Marketing with over 15 years of experience in sales, corporate communications, product marketing, and leadership. Sherri is responsible for creating and accelerating the company's marketing strategy and brand recognition across the globe. And she's done it for a handful of companies in the past too. So we're going to dive into that. We've got some great stuff for you guys. Again, if you want to check out the recording, make sure you go to all your favorite podcast apps. We're on all your favorite platforms. Just look up B2B Mentors and we are there. Sherri, welcome to B2B Mentors. Thanks for being our mentor today.
Yes, thank you. And I love the hype music. I just felt like I could just do a little jig and dance. Oh man, you got me. You got me pumped. I'm ready.
Yeah, I do too. Like when I do these solos sometimes, or you're in the background, you need something to get the blood flowing, right? And
I was in. I was so in. So thank you for that.
It was funny when I was picking the song to do our intro, like back when I launched the podcast, I'm like, there's so many podcast intro music. I need something that's going to get me and the guests moving and get the excitement going. So I'm glad you felt the vibes.
I did.
Happy Monday to you. Happy Marketing Monday.
Thank you.
First off, what is it? What is First Orion all about? What's your guys' business? What do you do? Who do you sell to? What are your customers? And love a little background on that.
Absolutely. So First Orion is in the business of helping consumers trust in their cell phones again. So they started in 2008, primarily working with carriers on communication protection. And that's all about that scam protection. That's all about making sure that when consumers are getting a call, they know if it's like scam likely or not. But at the end of the day, more and more consumers are still falling victim to scams on their phones. And over 90% of consumers do not feel comfortable answering unknown calls. They've been conditioned not to answer their phone. So while we've still been protecting them with scam protection and call protection technology, working with carriers, we also thought there was the ability to help brands be more transparent when they are trying to connect with their customers. So in 2018, we created communication protection, and that is all about being able to put the who, the why, and even the logo behind the call. So that if I am a consumer and I know that I have a refrigerator being delivered, I can see that brand's logo, or I can see the brand's name and the full description of why they're calling, so that I can trust that is not just a scam call. That's not just another unknown 10-digit number. I have that full transparency in that business trying to reach me. And actually only 10% of consumers even opt in for caller ID services. So for the rest, every business that's in the ability of trying to connect with their customers, do you know how you show up on the phone? Because in more times than not, it's just a 10-digit number. And with 90% of consumers saying, hey, I don't want to answer that. I don't trust that, because they've fallen victim to too many financial scams.
Does that work for text also? Branded text, if you get a text like a promo, or that's becoming obviously much, much bigger nowadays.
Hey, you might be giving away secret sauce as to where we want to go with the future. But Connor, right now it is all around that phone call, and it's the power of the call. And we actually do a lot of consumer surveys that really show that call is just as vital, and if not more important and more warranted in a variety of different use cases around when someone has a question or a concern, or there's a customer service, they really want to speak to an individual. They want that call. They don't want that SMS text. And so while there's always opportunity for text to expand the different communication channels on your mobile device, the heart of what we've always done is start with the phone call.
Now, you're incredibly intelligent. You've had a lot of experience. What is it that you love most about the B2B marketing side of things?
It is so, well, number one, it's so different than B2C, and it's so different than what a college course mostly teaches you around marketing as well, because they concentrate so much on that B2C. I love the creativity. I love the storytelling. I think it also puts you with a variety of different, especially with First Orion. Think about who we're selling to. We're selling to any industry, any business in any industry that is trying to connect with those customers. And what that means is, as a marketer, you have to be super, super crystal clear on your story and on your value proposition. And you have to slice and dice different stories for different audiences. I sometimes think that it's even harder to connect, because then you have to really think about the persona, right? You have somebody that's a consumer by day and night, but they're interacting with different channels during the day while they're at work than different channels at night. And you've got to really think of the variety of ways to interact with them and to make these use cases warrant picking up the phone and saying, hey, I want to learn more. I'm ready to talk to someone in sales. I always just think it's a lot different. And it also opens up a completely different group too within product marketing. And it becomes, as you're a SaaS technology B2B organization, that critical component of product marketing it's a game changer. It's night or day for your marketing organization when you're in B2B SaaS tech.
Yeah, it is a different, unique challenge. It's almost like you are doing consumer marketing, but you're also doing B2B marketing. Like you're marketing to a business, but you also have to work on a consumer level nowadays. And in the world you're in, which is like, it's not a incredibly sexy industry. Like B2B marketing is not, we're not marketing like shoes or, clothes or celebrities.
No.
And so you just have to be that much more creative in
You
terms of how you're capturing attention. But your big focus, and one of the reasons I really wanted to bring you onto the show, and we talked about this, is the product marketing side of things and building a product marketing team. And you put a lot of emphasis into how important your product marketing team is. And so, first off, you started as a product marketer or fell into the product marketing world? Like, how did that begin?
I would say tripped into product marketing. I started my career in sales. So actually, I was a broadcast journalism major in college, knowing I was going to be the next Katie Couric. And I ended up tripping into sales, and I was doing sales for 4 years before I then transitioned into communications and had the opportunity to build out product marketing for a FinServe SaaS technology company called.
That's who you're doing sales for? Was a FinServe company?
I was doing sales for the military, actually. So
wow.
I worked for a government distributor called ADS. And so they had a bunch of different government contracts that made it very easy for the military to purchase. So we would have the contracts that made it easy, as well as the vendor relationships, all in trying to make for best price, fastest delivery for our military men and women in service.
A lot of top marketers I've met and come across have had a significant background in sales. So how do you feel like sales is really translated over into the world of being, CMO?
I think it just makes you more well-rounded in your thinking. I know what it's like to be a sales rep that had great marketing, and I know what it's like to be a sales rep that didn't have great marketing or felt like there was a very big disconnect or lack thereof bridge between the marketing organization and sales. So when I transitioned into marketing in my career and really transitioned into product marketing, that was always a fundamental part of what I concentrated on. How could I build the bridge? How could I get a sales organization to trust marketing, that marketing had their best interests at heart? How could I also get, at the same time with product marketing, how could I get a product team to also trust and build the bridge? So you have this great ecosystem of teams collaborating with each other, smarter, making better decisions well in advance of a product release, or really thinking about what the sales rep's going through on a day-to-day basis, who they're running into, the objections that they're getting, the personas that they're talking to, so that I could build out more compelling marketing material. The last thing that you want in a sales organization is to build material that never sees the light of day.
Right.
Sales rep looks at and says, I'm not using that. That doesn't appeal to my
And the
audience.
marketing's like, oh, nobody's sharing our
Who else
content.
uses it?
Nobody's
It's
using our
great.
stuff.
Yeah, there's like, this is great. You should use it. And sales is going, I don't think so. So I think that has really helped coming from that sales organization. I think it's helped with pricing strategy. It's helped with personas. It's helped with competitor research. It's helped with value propositions because I think you're that much closer in sales to the customer, and carrying that over into marketing, you never lose sight of that end user. And to your point, when you said earlier, B2B to C. I mean, that is very, very true in the sense that what we're operating in, it's not just B2B. At the very end of the day, we're delivering technology that a consumer at the end, very, very end, is going to interact with as well. So we have to think about that.
So what is really the difference between a product marketing manager, product marketing director versus a VP of marketing or a CMO? Like, what is the difference in roles in your opinion, your experience?
I think they are really, really focused in on how do I take the complexities of what a product team is building, and how do I tell the 50,000 foot view? How do I make it so that I'm not just talking about how it works and you press this button here and it does that, but all the way down to the very, very end persona that you're selling to? What is going to make them stop and say, hey, I want to buy this? And then how do you do it in a full go to market where you're really thinking about how to connect with the other members of your marketing organization that can then focus on brand awareness and focus in on content marketing, like with ebooks or blogs or podcasts or mini videos? You are interacting with all of them. You're helping educate the rest of the marketing team, but you're really fueling the heart of, here's what our product is developing, and here's how to make the most out of it and squeeze and make lemonade out of the lemons for the sales organization to really make it easy to understand exactly what we do, why you should really care. It's part of the reasons why any organization that I've worked with in the past, and we've done this with First Orion, we work in the Simon Sinek Golden Circle mindset as well. And this is really the heart of our brand awareness, our mission, our vision, but it's also the heart of our product. And it's leading with the why to follow up with the how and then the what, because so many organizations do the reverse. Here's what we do, here's how we do it, and here's why we should care. We flip it in marketing and in product marketing. It is all about the why at the very, very heart and the end of what we're trying to solve for everyday consumers. I know what it's like as a mother to have my son in the nurse's office at school. The nurse is trying to call saying, hey, your son's sick. I see a 10-digit number that I don't recognize. I don't answer it. I'm plugging away in meetings. And the next thing you know, I decide maybe an hour and a half. And this is true story. It's happened. I check my voicemail only to find out, ma'am, your son's sick. He's been at the nurse's office. And then it like smacks you in the face, mom guilt. I mean, totally smacks you. How did I do this to my kid?
I know I did that to my mom quite a handful of times. I promise you.
Whether it's playing hooky or not, the mom in you or the dad.
Your son hasn't shown up in 2 weeks. We've been trying to get a hold of you.
Yeah, mom or the dad in you. I'm not gonna discredit the dads out there taking the nurses' calls as well. But you feel guilty. You so feel guilty.
Yeah.
And so you have to think about that as a product marketer as well. You're delivering a technology to a business, but that business is delivering technology to that consumer. And that's the mind and the life that you're changing right there, how they experience that phone call. And it's the core of what product marketing needs to focus in on, the why.
So the product marketing, very much a liaison, but it's like the UX versus the UI of a product. Is the UX, a lot of smart people on your development team created this great product, and then product marketers need to be able to, one, effectively communicate that not only to their marketing team, but also to sales. And they're kind of the liaison really between that process.
Yeah.
It sounds like. What is the risk of not having a product marketer on your team? Or a product, like, is product manager and product marketer the same time? I mean, you never know with job titles anymore nowadays.
No, a product marketer and a product manager are very, very different. And I always love to follow. And so if anyone's ever going, how do I learn more follow the Product Marketing Alliance. It is a fantastic group. Number one, too, it has great education, great trainings that people can get certified in product marketing. They also provide great frameworks as well to learn about go-to-market and work through go-to-market frameworks, to learn about competitive battle cards. It's wonderful. And I've had to use a lot of their education on the fundamental difference between a product manager and a product marketer, even internally, because for a lot of technology organizations or startups, they start with sales, then they may bring in a PR manager or someone in content, and product marketing is net new. And that's the reason why I absolutely think if anyone were to ever ask who should come first in a startup organization, sales or product marketing, I would say get your product marketer in, because that product marketer is going to be able to understand who the target market is, what the industry needs, work with the product team to provide that data and education to leverage when they're building out the product. And then they're going to be able to help enable the sales teams on how to effectively sell it from the story perspective. And so sometimes if you hire sales first, as before your product marketer, and I'm talking in a very startup technology organization, they can go and they can pitch, but they may not be pitching most effectively. And maybe they're having a hard time really understanding all the meat and the potatoes and then the sparkle too, right? Of what separates your product out from a competitor's. And so allow that product marketer to come in, do that hard work, do that lift, and create that story for you.
Now, if I'm a service-based business versus like a SaaS or technology product of some sort, is there application if I'm a service-based business? If our service is maybe kind of productized in a way, like should I have product marketers on my team too?
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, you're selling, aren't you? You're selling a service versus selling a product. And so you still need to know what you're up against. And if you're competing against anyone else, whether it's directly or subdirectly, maybe they have a component of what you have, I think it's absolutely important to have that product marketer come in and do the due diligence and do the research and create that story. And I like to say it this way, and this is actually some of the best advice that I ever got. I really started my career in product marketing pretty technical. I'd say is more of a technical product marketer. I could get into the weeds. I could really understand. And some of the best advice that I was given early on in my career was, listen, you're a great technical product marketer, but now I need you're batting left. Now I need you to bat right. And I need you to be a storytelling product marketer as well. And it was flexing a different muscle. It's flexing your right and then your left side of your brain. And what ends up happening is when you have that product marketing team that can bat left and bat right and think technical and understand the product and then know how to turn it into a story, you have a very powerful arm in your marketing organization that is going to elevate your sales team, but also elevate the rest of your marketing team as well. So you've got that PR manager on standby knowing exactly what new stories to pitch based on personas and feedback from product marketing and the sales organization to pitch for brand awareness and to better elevate your brand perception. And then naturally it's going to lead into sales growth.
So product marketers, if I want to evolve into a product marketing, how should product marketers, since we're so closely tied to also product sales and growth of the company, not just as much on the branding side, a little bit of both, how should we be compensated? Like, what should we look to be compensated as product marketers?
I think you're looking at,
just pause real quick. If I'm leadership, how should I expect to be compensating a product marketing team?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great conversation. And I think it's a great question. I think it differs on organizations. I think predominantly it's a salary role. But at the same time, some organizations are salary plus bonus as well. I mean, what are your KPIs? You really need to be looking at what these product marketers are doing. And sometimes it's really hard. It's not just, let's not get into the world of just divvying out quantitative KPIs, because then often numbers don't tell the full story, right?
Hmm.
Numbers can lead to some interpretation. I think it needs to be a very great balance between qualitative and quantitative. I think we should be looking at win-loss analyses and really looking at what that story is telling, so that when a sales rep loses a deal, maybe it's not to a competitor, but maybe it's to price, maybe it's to length of implementation, maybe it's to a product gap. Are you funneling any of that information into a quarterly meeting or even a monthly meeting with the product team and sales leadership to understand what else we need to be offering? It's also looking at velocity. So you reach out and you do a go-to-market and launch on X date. What's the 90 days from that? What's the 60 days from that? Or what's the 6 months from that? Really align with understanding what leads you're bringing to the table, what the MQLs are, what is converting over to opportunities closed based off of that go-to-market launch. There's a variety of different things, but you can't lose sight of the qualitative pieces too that don't have numbers. And it's around the quality of the story too. Is it resonating? And that's where you really want that product marketing team to get involved, to listen in and be the fly on the wall in the sales conversation, or even be an active participant to garner that feedback so that you know what you need to take back and redefine your stories. They're evergreen, right? They're never going to be concrete. We're always going to refine and retune because a buyer's behavior constantly changes. The way that we did marketing in 2012 is a vastly different way than we're doing marketing today in 2022. So everything is evergreen, and nobody knows that more than a product marketer. You're constantly refining and retuning.
Yeah, it's amazing to me how many marketing teams aren't actually sitting in or listening to sales calls or going on site. And it's like the absolute best insight that you can, garner and be able to and get your sales team to actually be utilizing
Right.
the content that you're putting out there.
That's right.
Being in tune with what they're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, when you're looking at your event budget, make sure you've got at least a certain number of events that you're sending sales reps to, that you're sending a product marketer to as well, so they can walk the floor too, or talk to the customers. Make sure they're part of your closed loss. If you're following up on a deal because it lost, let them be part of the why. That way you don't have to do the hard job sales. Let a product marketer ask the question for a quick 10-minute conversation. Let them learn about the sales cycle. Let them see the sales team utilize a pitch deck in action, and let them hear what the biggest aha moments are. Because here's the thing, you sit on a slide and then all of a sudden something resonates with that person, with that prospect, and they go, this gets me so excited. I mean, you're speaking my love language. And then a product marketer is going to be geeking out in the corner going, I can't wait to go talk to marketing about this, because we're going to create content galore and social galore out of this. And hey, we're going to refine our deck to drill in even more. You get excited about it. So put them in the process. Nothing makes a product marketing team more successful than being able to listen to the voice of the customer.
Yeah, I would say that's what I love about marketing too. You just listen into something, and then you just that one thing you pick up from what a customer said or what a prospect said, and you're like, oh my God, I could create a whole webinar training out of this, or 25 blog posts out of this single topic.
Oh, and we're doing that right now. For instance, commissioned Forrester Consulting to do a TEI research report on us.
Oh, okay.
And
that'll be interesting.
Well, we published it. We published it in February, and one of the anonymized, one of our customers that was interviewed anonymously said, "Listen, for every time that I have to reroute a delivery," and they were a retail store that did delivery services, so think of refrigerators or TVs, you name it. And they said, every time I reroute because someone didn't answer the phone, it costs me $100 to reroute. So the product marketer in you goes, oh, we're doing a series. We are doing a series of collateral and content and social, and we are going to story tell the heck out of that, because that's one business in the delivery business. Imagine all of the others and the costs associated to a 10-digit number not getting answered.
Oh yeah, if you can get that insight, oh my God, you guys are spending millions of dollars on something that's not happening. Here's how to improve at least 5% of that, 20%, whatever the number is.
Exactly. And so then you start valuing and you start really putting an ROI number to
Mm-hmm.
the impact of a branded call. It's not just about getting the call answered. That's great. And in some instances, think about it. You put your name and your logo on a call, and then someone decides not to answer because they do know it's you. There's always that choice as well. However, in the end, the people that do pick up are the right people at the right place and at the right time, willing and wanting to connect because they know it's you. And then on the end, if you're in the delivery business, guess what? You're saving a couple bucks as well every single time that call is getting answered because you don't have to reroute it. I mean, these are the things that I could geek out all day with you, Connor, about it and talk because it makes you super excited. But it's these things that product marketers love. They love the numbers, they love the stories, they love the research and the intel, and because they can do a heck of a lot with it and fuel the rest of your marketing organization for success.
I for sure would rather have people ignore my calls because it's like, oh, Connor's calling.
Oh,
No,
my.
I don't want to deal with this. No. Versus, hey, it's Connor. Oh, shoot.
Oh, darn
Oh,
it.
man. I wish I would have seen that come through.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, I wish I would have known.
How do, great companies like First Orion, how do I more effectively, this is actually really interesting and made me think of our conversation this afternoon too. I spoke with another fractional CMO today, and he was like, if you look at LinkedIn, there's now 10,000 CMO positions that are posted,
Yeah.
and like 20, I wrote the number down, but it was like 28 something thousand marketing director roles that are being posted. So that's 10,000 companies plus that are looking for marketing leadership roles. You're phenomenal, super successful. You know what you're doing and you're skilled. And so how do companies like this attract top marketing talent and retain top marketing talent? Marketing leadership is like one of the shortest lived titles right now in the world.
It is. I think that's great. Here's the thing. When I want to know that organization is invested in marketing. I want to know that if you're really willing to grow, I want to see that come through. I think a lot of times in organizations, they hire for marketing and then marketing is in there and they don't get a say-so to provide what the data is showing or what the research is showing or help change mindsets or push boundaries, help do things a little differently. And what happens is, okay, I need marketing leadership to come in and I need X amount of leads every single month. And marketing is going to be only successful if it's leads. What about demand? What about brand awareness? What about brand perception? Do you know how your brand is showing up in the media? Do you know what your customers are saying about you? Voice of the customer is super important. So is reliable referrals going on behind your back. And do you know what the brand perception is? And so we need to also look at that, base that on, I follow Refine Labs a lot. And if anyone else has not yet,
Chris is coming on the podcast tomorrow.
Oh, great.
So super timely.
I listen to Chris. He's always got amazing content that he's posting on the daily. And it's so important. And it gives you a lot of aha moments. So, and I would also say, hey, company, if you're looking for marketers, you might want to follow what Refine Labs is saying because it's pushing the envelope on the way that we've done business in the past as a marketing organization to the way that we need to be doing business. And it shouldn't be all about the leads. It should really be about the demand as well. And dark social is here, but that's hard to attribute. It's really hard to attribute the impact of all of these social channels all the way back down through the funnel, but it's there. And if you're doing it right, so that on your form fills, if it's how do you hear about us, put LinkedIn on there, put Instagram on there, put your social channels on there, because employee advocacy is huge as well. So as you're getting more and more people sharing, that dark social is super important. And Chris talks about that a lot. And it gives you those aha moments. But no marketer in 2022 wants to go into an organization and run it like it's 2012 and we're back to Excel spreadsheets. Now, not everything has to be, patch this technology here, patch that technology there. I'm in no way saying, hey, we're going to spend a heck of a lot of money on tools and then try to figure out how to cobble it together. But let's look at the objective of your marketing organization. Let's look at how you're doing business now to how you need to be doing business in 2022. And are you open to that idea? Because I think that helps with some retention there. And that helps when you've got a marketing leader coming in and doing your interviews, that helps intrigue their interest. That marketing leader wants to come in and know, hey, they're open to ideas and they're open to growing, and we can evoke change together. And sometimes that's really hard when you're going through those interviews and you realize the fear of change.
And it's hard to come by too. A lot of resistant leadership out there that are just like, what's the bottom line? How do I measure this perfectly? You've got investors, board of directors, but there's this whole world, like you mentioned, of immeasurable areas of your marketing, which makes our jobs very, very tricky.
It does. And it takes time as well. When you're looking at brand perception, you're looking at awareness, and you're looking at demand, especially in the more startup phase. There are things that you can do to turn on to make some immediate impact, but it's a long-term play. So are you as an organization invested in the long-term play?
So anything else on building a team, just in kind of winding down here, that you feel like is specific, actionable? I thought that was a really great point and super important, just on be the marketer you want to be on your team, right? Like, be attractive by showing you truly are invested in your marketing. And that's how you're going to get great people.
It is.
If you're trying to skimp and you're too stingy on your budget, and you don't understand patience in the B2B marketing game, you're going to really struggle to build a winning product marketing team. But on the flip side, anything else on that takeaway you want to add?
Listen, I think that if you're coming into an organization as well as a marketer and a leader, you're going to look at the three things that I would really recommend goal-wise is number one, your sales growth, land and expand, your demand generation, and your competitive replacement. How do you set yourself apart from those that are out there? The second piece is that brand perception, and that's the customer evangelism. Are there people that you've already signed that you haven't used their voice in your stories? Are there people that you can sign through the sales cycle that you can encourage to allow that voice to be heard? Brand building. Is the brand that you are today, and I'm talking about it even from a design perspective, is that what you really want to be? Or is that really how you want your brand represented in the next 2 to 5 years? Now's the time to really squeeze. And do I need to add, even if it's as basic as, let's add some more secondary colors or tertiary colors. Let's really expand so that we're not all blue or we're not all green and it's so dark. And then also that public image, like, how are you coming across? Do you actually know? Just like in First Orion, how we sell, do you know how you show up on a phone call? Like, as a company, do you know how you show up on the World Wide Web with everything at our fingertips, what your brand perception is? And then the third piece of that is awareness. And that's where your content marketing strategy comes in. How much freemium content are you delivering? Nobody wants to fill out a gate if you're not giving them enough freemium content. So how often are you posting and giving that secret sauce and that great information that they don't have to feel like they're buying and paying you in their name and email? You can get all of that, but what else are you doing to really build that brand awareness so that people want to give you more and want to give you that content? If you're building out ebooks and surveys in the past, funnel that free content of videos and blogs in the rolling thunder. Like, create a piece of content that's got arms and legs for months or for weeks, that you can create a brief and you've got 4 blogs from it, 2 videos from it, and a ton of social posts from it. And you
call that rolling thunder?
Rolling thunder.
I like it. I haven't heard that one before. I like it.
And then your social. Because as even Chris Walker from Refine Labs will say, we are in a dark social era. So get your employees' advocacy numbers up and constantly post on social. And also know that your social posts on Twitter are not going to be exactly the same as LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook or TikTok, if you've gotten into TikTok yet. Know your audience there, but use it. It is such a great
podcast tomorrow. That's cool that just the timing of that worked out very well. But yeah, I mean, guys, are you actually out there being valuable? Are you not only valuable to the team you're trying to attract in and recruit? We're in a very, very tricky job market right now. And so you have to do above and beyond to attract great marketers onto your team and to retain them. But are you also just out there parroting what your competitors are doing? Or are you being truly original and thoughtful? So, Sherri, this has been phenomenal. You're welcome on the show anytime you want. I appreciate you very much.
Yeah.
What is the best way people to find you, follow you, and get into contact with you?
I am on LinkedIn. I also love coffee. So if you see my LinkedIn profile, I am always down for a virtual coffee and a virtual high five, and would love to meet, love to interact. But you can follow me there. With First Orion, I'm S Schwartz at firstorion.com. And I am open to any connection. And if you are in the business of wanting to connect with your customers, I got to do the shameless plug, Connor. I've got to do
Bring on the plug. Bring on the plug.
You are in the business of trying to connect with your customers and you don't want to show up as a 10-digit number and you want that full transparency, contact us at First Orion. Would love to be able to get your brand on that call.
That was smooth. It's almost like you've practiced this before.
I'm in sales, Connor. We're all in sales.
that was spot on. But yeah, guys, make sure you connect, make sure you follow. And then, when Katie Couric over here launches her podcast, which is going to happen at some point soon, then make sure you go subscribe to that too. I know it's going to happen. I envision the future. Like, I already guess where you guys are going with your product. I know you're going to launch a super successful podcast one of these days.
We are in the lab now talking about that podcast.
Oh, see, it's all coming up. All right, my friend, thank you so much. Stick around for one quick second while we wrap up here. Guys, firstorion.com. Make sure you check that out. Go follow Sherri. And by the way, if you want to connect with great B2B marketing mentors like Sherri, business celebrities, marketing executives, come check out our free B2B Mentors Marketing Mastermind. It's free to you. We run it every other Thursday at 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, 12 o'clock Eastern. Come in, network, mastermind on your marketing, get your problem solved, and make lifelong connections. With that, my friends, much love to you. Make it great, and I'll see you on the other side.